Listen to me, confidence, it's not magic. It's not something you're born with. It's not a gift handed to you by the universe. Confidence is earned by what you do, not by what you hope for. And there's one habit, one simple, powerful habit, that will build your confidence faster than anything else. Keeping the promises you make to yourself. You see, every time you say you're going to do something, and you actually do it, you're sending a message to your own soul. I can trust me. And trust, that's the foundation of confidence. Because if you don't trust yourself, you'll always hesitate, you'll always doubt, you'll always hold back. Think about it. You've made promises before. I'll start tomorrow. I'll hit the gym. I'll wake up early. And when you break those promises, even in secret, your spirit remembers. And that memory, it whispers in your ear every time you're about to step forward, you're not ready. You can't do it, but when you flip it, when you follow through, when you show up for yourself day after day, even in small ways, your mind begins to believe you. That belief grows, and that belief, that's confidence, so start small. Pick one thing, just one, and do it every single day. Doesn't matter if it's 5 push-ups, 10 minutes of reading, or waking up at the same time every morning. Show yourself you can be trusted. Stack that proof until you can't deny it. Because the moment you can look in the mirror and know you'll keep your word to yourself, that's the moment you stop asking the world for permission. That's the moment you walk into any room, any challenge, any dream with your head high and your heart steady. Confidence isn't built in a day, it's built daily, and the faster you start keeping your promises, the faster you'll become unstoppable. Confidence is not some magical gift that lands in your lap because you were lucky or born under the right star. It's not something other people hand to you with their approval or applause. Confidence is something you earn, and you earn it through what you do every single day. It is built in the quiet moments when no one is watching, when you choose to push forward instead of shrinking back, when you decide to act despite feeling uncertain. Too many people are waiting for confidence to show up first, thinking they need to feel bold before they can take the leap, but the truth is exactly the opposite. Confidence is the result of action, not the prerequisite for it. Every time you take a step into the unknown, every time you follow through on something you said you would do, you deposit a little more belief into your own account. Over time, those deposits add up until you have a balance so strong that doubt struggles to break through. When you look at someone who seems completely at ease in any situation, you're not seeing a person who never feels fear or doubt. You're seeing someone who has built such a deep history of showing up for themselves that they've trained their mind to trust them. That's the part most people miss. Confidence doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means you've proven to yourself that you can act even when fear is present. It means you've gone through enough situations where you didn't know how it would turn out, but you still showed up and you discovered you were capable of handling it. Those moments of courage become the bricks in the foundation of confidence. The more bricks you lay, the stronger the structure becomes, and soon it's strong enough to stand no matter what storms hit. The reason confidence feels earned is because it can't be faked for long. You can pretend in front of others, you can wear the right clothes, speak with the right tone, but deep down, your mind knows whether you've put in the work or not. That's why when you've actually done the work, when you've put in the effort and faced the discomfort, there's a different energy about you. It's grounded, it's steady. It's not about arrogance or thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about knowing you can rely on yourself. This knowing comes only from repetition, from showing up consistently. Every time you avoid a challenge or break your own word, you weaken that foundation. Every time you follow through, no matter how small the step, you strengthen it. The equation is simple, but it demands commitment. If you want confidence, you have to keep stacking those moments where you choose action over hesitation, proof over wishful thinking, courage over comfort. And the more you do it, the more that earned belief in yourself becomes unshakable. The fastest way to build confidence is not about reading endless books, listening to motivational speeches, or waiting for some huge life event to change you. It's about developing one habit that changes how you see yourself, keeping the promises you make to yourself. This habit is deceptively simple, but it carries a power that can completely shift your self-image. Every time you make a commitment and follow through, you reinforce a message in your own mind that says, "I can rely on me." That internal message is the fuel for real confidence. It's not about what others think of you or whether they believe in you. It's about you believing in yourself, and belief is built from evidence. The more evidence you give your mind that you do what you say you'll do, the more it trusts you, and the more that trust transforms into unshakable confidence. Think about how you view other people. If someone constantly makes promises and breaks them, you stop trusting them. You don't rely on their word because you know it means nothing. Now realize this, the same thing happens internally. When you constantly make commitments to yourself and fail to follow through, you start doubting yourself. You may not even realize it's happening, but deep down your brain keeps a record. Every broken promise becomes proof that you can't be counted on, and that proof shows up as hesitation, overthinking, and insecurity in the moments that matter most. On the other hand, when you make a promise and honor it, even in small things, you give your mind a different kind of proof that you can be trusted, proof that you are someone who shows up. The beauty of this habit is that it doesn't have to start with huge, intimidating commitments. It can start with something small and manageable. Promise yourself you'll drink a certain amount of water today and do it. Promise yourself you'll go for a 10-minute walk and do it. Promise yourself you'll wake up when you said you would and do it. These small victories are not meaningless. They are the building blocks of trust. And as trust grows, so does confidence. This is not about perfection, it's about consistency. You will slip up at times, but the key is to make sure your record of kept promises far outweighs the ones you break. Over time, this habit changes how you carry yourself. You no longer hesitate to take on challenges because you know you'll follow through. You stop relying on motivation because trust in yourself becomes your fuel. You don't have to fake confidence or talk yourself into believing you're capable. You'll know you are because you've proved it over and over again in your actions. And the speed at which your confidence grows is directly tied to how consistently you keep those personal promises, because that habit is the foundation upon which every other form of self-belief is built. Self-trust is the bedrock upon which true confidence stands. Without it, no amount of compliments, achievements, or external validation will keep you steady for long. You can have people tell you all day that you're talented, smart, or capable, but if deep down you don't believe in yourself, those words will slide right off you. Confidence isn't about how others see you, it's about how you see yourself, and that vision is shaped by whether or not you trust yourself to act, to follow through, and to handle whatever comes your way. When you know you can rely on you, the fear of failure loses its grip, because even if things don't go perfectly, You're confident in your ability to get back up and try again. Self-trust is built in moments, in the decisions you make when no one is watching. It grows every time you take action despite uncertainty, every time you keep your word, every time you push past the excuses your mind tries to feed you. Without that trust, hesitation becomes your constant companion. You find yourself overthinking, second guessing, and looking to others for approval before making a move. You become dependent on outside reassurance, which means your confidence rises and falls based on factors you can't control. But when self-trust is strong, you move through life differently. You make decisions faster because you believe in your judgment. You try new things without obsessing over what people will think. You walk into opportunities without needing a guarantee that everything will work out, because you know you'll figure it out along the way. Think of it like a relationship with a close friend. If that friend always kept their promises, showed up when they said they would, and supported you through challenges, you would have unwavering trust in them. You wouldn't question whether they'd be there for you, you'd just know. Now flip that relationship inward. When you consistently show up for yourself in that same way, you create the same level of trust, but this time it's between you and you. And just like in any strong relationship, that trust gives you a sense of safety, and safety allows you to step into bigger risks and bolder moves. Without self-trust, even small obstacles can feel overwhelming because your mind doesn't have proof that you can handle them. With self-trust, even big challenges become manageable because you have that deep, unshakable belief that you'll show up and find a way through. It's not about never feeling doubt or fear. It's about knowing you can act in spite of them. And the more you act in alignment with your values and commitments, the stronger that trust becomes. Over time, it stops being something you have to think about. It becomes part of your identity. You simply see yourself as someone who can be relied on, and that identity radiates out in the way you speak, move, and live. Breaking promises to yourself might seem harmless in the moment, but it slowly eats away at the very foundation of your confidence. Every time you tell yourself you'll do something and you don't follow through, you're sending a quiet but powerful message to your own mind. I can't rely on me. That message doesn't just disappear, it sticks, it builds, and it shapes the way you see yourself. Over time, this erosion of self-trust creates hesitation, self-doubt, and a habit of second-guessing your every move. You start to feel unsure, not because you're incapable, but because deep down you remember all the times you didn't show up for yourself. Those memories become mental roadblocks, and they show up in moments where you need confidence the most. The dangerous part is that these broken promises don't always feel dramatic. They can be small things: skipping the workout you said you'd do, hitting snooze instead of waking up when you planned, procrastinating on a task you committed to finishing. You might brush them off as no big deal, but your subconscious is keeping score, and that score influences how much belief you have in yourself when it's time to tackle bigger challenges. If your track record is full of unfinished commitments, your brain naturally assumes you won't follow through on the next one either. That assumption can make you hesitate, avoid risks, or shy away from opportunities, because somewhere in the back of your mind, you're not convinced you'll actually deliver. When you repeatedly break promises to yourself, you also create a pattern of giving in to comfort over growth. This reinforces the belief that you can't be trusted when things get uncomfortable or difficult. And the problem with that belief is that it doesn't stay hidden. It leaks into how you speak, how you carry yourself, and how you approach every aspect of life. People can sense hesitation and uncertainty, and often they respond to you based on the energy you project. In this way, a lack of self-trust not only weakens your internal confidence, but also influences how the world perceives and treats you. On the other hand, think about how it feels when you do keep a promise to yourself. Even something small can make you stand taller, breathe deeper, and feel stronger. You walk away from that action with proof that you can be counted on, and that proof becomes the foundation for the next commitment. When you break promises, you strip yourself of that proof, leaving you to operate without the fuel that drives confidence forward. The habit of keeping your word to yourself is a choice, just as the habit of breaking it is. Each decision either strengthens or weakens the way you see yourself. And while rebuilding trust after breaking it takes time, every single follow-through is a step back toward the kind of unshakable belief that makes you move through life with certainty. Small, daily commitments might seem insignificant on their own, but they are the foundation on which real confidence is built. Big achievements often look impressive from the outside, yet they're almost always the result of small actions repeated consistently over time. It's easy to focus on the major milestones and overlook the little habits that make those milestones possible, but those little habits are where trust in yourself is forged. When you keep even the tiniest promise to yourself every day, you create undeniable evidence that you follow through. That evidence compounds, and with each day that passes, your belief in your own reliability grows stronger. The power of small commitments lies in their accessibility. They're not overwhelming, and they don't require a dramatic lifestyle change overnight. You can start with something so small it feels almost too easy. Making your bed every morning, drinking a set amount of water, reading for 5 minutes, or taking a short walk. These acts might not seem like they have anything to do with confidence, but every completed task becomes a vote for the identity of someone who follows through. Over time, those votes add up until that identity becomes solid and unshakable. Small commitments also train your mind to associate action with results. Even though the results from each individual act might be minor, the repetition creates a sense of momentum. That momentum builds trust in your ability to stick to something, even when motivation fades, and it will fade. That's why small, manageable actions are so powerful. They don't rely on bursts of inspiration. They can be done regardless of how you feel on any given day. This consistency is what separates fleeting confidence from lasting confidence. The beauty of these daily actions is that they become a constant reminder that you are in control of your behavior. This sense of control is critical because it gives you the courage to take on bigger challenges. When you've proven to yourself that you can stick with something small every single day, it doesn't feel like such a leap to tackle something larger. And when you succeed with something larger, your confidence grows exponentially, but none of that happens without the groundwork laid by those small daily commitments. They also help you recover faster from setbacks. Life will throw challenges at you, and there will be times you miss a target or fail at something important. When that happens, having the anchor of your small daily commitments keeps you grounded. Even if everything else feels like it's falling apart, you still have that consistent habit to hold on to, a habit that reminds you you're still capable, still disciplined, still moving forward. Over time, these small actions become part of your identity, and that identity fuels a deep, unshakable confidence. You're no longer just hoping you can follow through. You know it because you've done it every single day in ways too consistent to deny. Start with one simple habit. That's the key to unlocking momentum and building the kind of confidence that lasts. Too many people try to overhaul their entire life at once, setting massive goals and taking on more than they can realistically handle. It feels exciting at the start, but the weight of trying to change everything at the same time often leads to burnout, frustration, and quitting altogether. Focusing on just one small, simple habit creates a completely different outcome. It gives you a clear, manageable target that you can hit consistently, and that consistency is what sparks real transformation. When you pick one habit and stick with it, you remove the overwhelm that comes with juggling too many commitments. Instead of scattering your energy in different directions, you direct it all toward one thing, which makes it easier to build a winning streak. That one habit becomes proof to yourself that you can be disciplined even in the face of resistance. It doesn't have to be something complicated or time-consuming. In fact, the simpler it is, the more likely you are to follow through every day. The point isn't to impress anyone else. It's to create a pattern of keeping your word to yourself. You could choose something as straightforward as doing 10 push-ups, meditating for 2 minutes, journaling 1 paragraph, or making your bed every morning. At first, it might seem too small to matter, but over time, the impact is huge. Every single time you complete that habit, you reinforce the belief that you can commit and deliver. That belief spills over into other areas of life, giving you the confidence to take on bigger challenges. Starting with one habit also teaches you the discipline of consistency, which is far more important than intensity in the beginning. Intensity comes and goes, but consistency is what builds the structure for long-term success. The more days you stack in a row of completing your chosen habit, the harder it becomes to break the chain. Soon you're no longer battling with yourself to get it done. It just becomes part of your day, like brushing your teeth. Once that habit is locked in, you can add another one and then another, creating a chain reaction of progress. But it all starts with that first choice to focus on just one. There's also a psychological advantage to starting small. Your brain experiences a quick win every time you finish your habit, and those quick wins release a sense of accomplishment that keeps you motivated to continue. Even on the days when life feels heavy or motivation is non-existent, you can still manage that one small task, and completing it reminds you that you're still moving forward. This is how you bypass the trap of waiting to feel ready. You prove to yourself that you can act no matter what. Over time, that simple habit becomes more than just a daily action. It becomes part of who you are, a non-negotiable that quietly builds the kind of confidence that doesn't fade. Confidence grows through evidence, and that evidence comes from the actions you take every single day. It's not built on wishful thinking, empty affirmations, or the hope that one day you'll suddenly feel ready. Real confidence is grounded in proof, tangible moments where you can look back and say, "I did that." Every time you step up and follow through, you create a mental record of success, and that record becomes the foundation for believing in yourself. Without evidence, confidence is fragile. It can be shaken by criticism, failure, or unexpected challenges. With evidence, confidence becomes solid because you have undeniable proof that you can show up, adapt, and handle what's in front of you. The most powerful part of building confidence through evidence is that it doesn't have to come from massive achievements. In fact, It often starts with small, simple wins. When you commit to something and see it through, no matter how minor, you're reinforcing the idea that you can be trusted to act. That might be completing a workout when you didn't feel like it, speaking up in a meeting despite feeling nervous, or sticking to a personal boundary you set. Each of these moments becomes a deposit in your confidence bank, and over time the balance grows. When you're faced with a new challenge, you can mentally draw from that bank, remembering all the times you followed through in the past. That history gives you the courage to step forward again, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. It's important to understand that your brain responds to what you repeatedly show it. If you consistently avoid discomfort, break your own word, or back away from challenges, your mind collects evidence that you can't count on yourself. That collection of evidence turns into self-doubt, and the longer it builds, the harder it becomes to take bold action. But the reverse is also true. If you make a habit of following through, of doing the hard thing even when you don't feel like it, your brain begins to expect that you'll deliver. That expectation transforms into belief, and belief is the heart of confidence. The process is simple but not easy. You have to be intentional about creating opportunities to prove yourself to yourself. This means choosing actions you can commit to and refusing to negotiate your way out of them when resistance shows up. Over time, those repeated acts form a track record you can lean on. Confidence stops being something you have to hype yourself into because the proof is already there. You've built it brick by brick through action, and you can see the structure standing in front of you. It's not about pretending to be fearless or faking strength. It's about knowing that you've been tested before and shown up, and that knowledge allows you to face the next challenge with steady, grounded certainty.